I'm starting to enjoy this back and forth with other creators talking about rage, and I am happy that my previous videos pushed people to discuss about rage and everything around it, talents, equipments, etc. I want to make a quick premise. Every content creator has a say on this, and it does not mean that only because they have not presented the math like I did, their opinion is less worthy than mine, because it's not. In fact, I think that every of their takes on this is very valuable for the community. At the end, we don't have to think for the viewers, you guys can make your own decisions, we just have some fun making content. So yeah, Drago, thank you for bringing other aspects up so we can keep discussing about them. So shortly, I have watched Drago's response to my video about feral nature, and I will also link it in the description down below. Drago said, among many other things, that my recommendation can be considered mostly leaning towards Ark of Osiris and not KVK. Well, it is true that I am not the greatest KVK fighter ever, mostly because my very low spending does not allow it, and the fact that between content and my job, I don't really have time for it. But I do not agree with the fact that my recommendation is mostly Ark of Osiris based, and I will explain myself. First of all, any coordinated team, at least the core part of them, which in most cases is around 100 players, will search for any tweaks for the commanders, any little improvements that will help them on the battlefield. There is a lot of downtime between KVKs, and that's where people really start spending their time to prepare for the next KVK. They think about investing in commanders, equipment, fine-tuning the talents, and so on. That's my first point. Second, every time I speak about open field, and my recommendation was not to use feral nature in open field, I really mean big open field fights, where all the marchers converge together in a big clash to try and win a territory. Because in a KVK, that's what makes the difference. No one loses a KVK because they always lose the Ruin or the Altar battles. Maybe those battles are in the wrong time zone for a core of players, and they just prefer to step down and keep the energies fresh for the battles that matter. There are two types of KVK fights: hit and runs and big murder balls. There are players who really are focused in sniping marches returning home or going away from structures, cheeseburgering them like Cheesegool says. There are other players though who just put the alarm for the big open field fight when the pass opens, and in that context, there is no hit and run. You just need to wipe them out as soon as possible in order to take as much territory as possible in the first few hours. Who hits and runs is not really contributing much to the team. Sure, you need to retreat if you go too deep in the enemy's force by accident, or because you are dragged inside a murder ball by other players running away, but mostly you need to follow your leaders, focus the main targets down and kill them as quickly as possible. And as I said, those battles are the ones that will, in most cases, decide the outcome of an entire KVK. Few hours after every pass opening. Sometimes it can be days, but at the end, the hit and run part will not play much of a role in the victory as much as getting your kills done. Yeah, if KVK was a hit and run game, surely Feral Nature and the Horn of Fury will be the best choices for a skilled commander. Some of you guys pointed out how that will be important for snipers, because you maybe stick your commanders a few seconds outside your city to attack a small group of marches only, and you will indeed rely to your skill cycles being faster than the enemies. Take for example Guan Yu. If you want to give a returning enemy a quick round of skill, even if he has a Guan Yu in the same condition, but you have Feral Nature and a Horn of Fury, and he has a different setup with no Feral Nature and no Horn, that's most likely that you are going to silence your enemy with Guan Yu's active skill before he does. In that case, you will deal 2 rounds of skill damage when he has just finished his first one. And even if everything was to be the same between you and your opponent, stat-wise, you would still win the trade thanks to Feral Nature and the Horn. That's a good example of the talent being useful. Probably the Horn more useful than Feral Nature because the Horn has a 30% chance of activation, so you have greater chances for it to activate in a short battle. This still does not justify spending 10 talent points to get there. 2 + 3 +5. Yeah, I know I am a lot into numbers, but numbers have always given me the results I needed, so I guess I'll stick with them. I prefer 10 good average consistent results compared to 5 good results, 4 trash results, and 1 exceptional result. Because at the end of the day, my balance will keep being consistent and it will not be luck based, and I'm sure that I will not be that unlucky to need to bench to farm resources early on in a KVK. So yeah, I did give you an usage for feral nature, but let's be honest, will you win a KVK with hit and run fights? In my opinion, you won't. The decisive moments are the group fights, where you sweat your blood to the end without retreating, and frankly, they are also the most interesting ones. But of course, there will be players who prefer the hit and run, and I totally respect them. With that, I'm not saying that Drago's disagreement with my feral nature video is unjustified. I am just saying that I have a different point of view, and sorry for the play of words, I do not agree with his disagreement of my suggestion being valid only for Arcovasaris, if we can put it that way. I just gave advices basing on my own definition of field fights, which, sorry hit and runners, is not some sort of short fight. You can do that for sure, especially at the end of a KVK, to try and round up your kills for some achievements, or in some moments in KVK where you need to hold a certain territory and the situation consents to do hit and run fights. And as I always say, every situation, especially in strategy games, has to be accounted for separately. And if you really want to hit and run, that is, for example, a good moment to pick your feral nature and to equip an extra or a couple Horn of Fury to get the job done. I will anyway release a video where I speak about which are the preferred talent trees for different situations. I think it will take me at least 1 month, because we are speaking about more than 100 different talent trees for legendary commanders, and I will probably make a video about epic commanders too. And there, skill commanders like Guan Yu will have at least 3 different talent trees: hit and run, big open field, rally, etc. These new rage mechanic discoveries have opened the door to potentially a new round of testings to try and polish the commanders as much as we can. I remember these being fine-tuning, but I guess everything matters in the endgame. What's your opinion, guys? Are you more a big open field fighter or a player who likes to hit and run, maybe sniping the marches outside of a city or returning home? Leave a comment down below. Thanks again, Dragothien, for your take on this, and I hope that you guys will leave some love under his video as well, which is linked down below. Nothing, just a quick video today. I hope you enjoyed a simple talking for one time. Ciao ciao!